Welcome to Tempo Afric TV, your show point of view. Today we're going to talk about employment. That's why I have my guest, Mr. Lun Sam. So together we can talk again about employment as you guys request. How are you doing, Mr. Alun?
Thank you, Herman. I'm doing good.
Our show today is based on employment. Last time we talked about employment us as African when we left back home and coming aboard in US. We have challenges. The language, and after the language, try to find your way so you can survive in this country. Finding a job that's gonna help you to support yourself and to support your family. Today we're gonna focus more about after you learn the language, which one is English, you be successful finding a job, you can buy a car, living comfortably, and now you try to realize your dream. As all of us before we come here, we have a dream from back home. Which one we come to realize to make that dream become a reality in the US. That's why we're gonna talk about today. Mr. Lun.
Yes.
Most of us, when we come here, as I said earlier, we have a problem about language and the job and all those stuff, as we spoke last time.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get to the point like, okay, we can speak English, we can find a job, we can find a place to live, and we can buy a car and live. Now it's the time for us to realize our dreams. Each one of us have a dream to come to US, but most of us have a dream, especially for us Africans, to go to school in America. How do you see that transition? From your language, wherever you were speaking, you speak English, now you get to the point you want to go to school in America. You use yourself as an example. That's why we have in the show. How did you see that transition for you to go to university to try to accomplish more?
Thank you, Herman. It's a very good question. What ends up happening is once you learn the language to an adequate level, the second language that you need to learn in the US is technology, is computers, how to type, how to use the softwares. That's a skill that is necessary. Now that you're a doctor, an engineer, or whatever other profession you may choose in your life, you still need those skills. What we have to expand though as individuals is to get to a point where our abilities can be achieved, that we can expand our capacities. Then you can do whatever you want to do, meaning that once you can read, you can write, you can count, and you can type, those are the basic skills for any job. You could own your own company, you could work for somebody, you could do anything that you want, but those are the base. So when you come, I would say, my time was a long time ago, we had a different paradigm, we had a different narrative. Now things have changed a little bit in the economy, because at the end of the day, it's about making a living. It's not about identity.
I'm very pleased what you just said, because it's not about identity. Most of us, we feel, especially African, we feel like the more degree I get, the most degree I have in my community, I'm the most respectable person. I'm the guy who everybody look up to, like, okay, this guy, he have a PhD. And you just emphasize like it's about living. That's the good point. So we have to understand, like, whatever you do, on the end of the day, make sure it's something legal. It's about you, how you can manage to survive here in America. Yeah, you can go ahead.
It's about living. It's about a skill set that you can transpire into your human activity. It's not your identity, as I said earlier. If you identify yourself as a doctor, let's say you started your job. Yes, right now people think that, you can make a lot of money into that field. If people were healthier and made healthier choices, there was no business, then what is your identity? So it's about having the skill set that either I'm an engineer, I'm a lawyer, or whatever I may learn from school, I'm able at some point to be able to survive no matter what it takes. you know, in a legal way, as you said. As long as I'm not killing people, I'm not doing anything bad to my fellow human beings, it's a decent living. The rest is knowing also that once you come to America, success is not being above other people. Success is not read as, you know, I'm the highest in this room. That's not success. It's a lot of heartache. It's a lot of psychological trouble if that's your identity. No matter how much money you make, you'll spend it to look above somebody. And there is always going to be somebody who is going to be above you. So if your identity is based on being highest guy in the room, you will have a problem. That's a philosophical question, but I want to mention it here. The rest is being able to create our own communities, as I referred last week. If I start a job and I get a training in technology, for example, and I got a job at Apple, my job is to find Herman, Malik, Eve, Josiah, or whoever is out there that can find a job here to say, hey guys, for a 3 months, 6 months, a year training, here is a job where you can now make a living. Because you have the skill set of being able to read, you have the skill set of being able to count, you have the skill set of being able to type. Once you have those skill set, it doesn't matter. I went to school being trained as an economics and a financier. My first job when I get out of school was what? Was in marketing.
Different kind of field, but
Different kind of
same
field,
direction.
different kind of thinking.
Yeah.
But if you have the skill set of thinking, then you can apply it to different aspects of life. I left that aspect of things to sales. So it doesn't really matter what you've been trained in school. It's just the ability to think. What you go to school for is to give you the skill set that you're able to think. And if you're able to think, then you can rationally find what is it that you would like to cooperate between yourself and the environment in which you live in.
As Mr. Lund said, everything is based on how you want to maintain yourself to live, to make a living in this country. When your choice is about you going to school, create a network that is going to help you to expand. If you can expand whatever knowledge, because we go to school to get the knowledge. Most of us, the job we're doing is not what we went to school from. One example, Mr. Lund just said that. Myself, I'm sitting here. I'm an example too. I'm not going to tell you what exactly. I'm an example to the job I'm doing today. It's not what I went to school for it. But once you go to school, it gives you a general knowledge about you as a human being. How you can read, you can write, you can speak, and with the new technology, you can type and understand the computer language. It's going to help you to expand, not only by yourself, but with people around you. So from that point, you create a network, and that network, that's why it's going to help you to accomplish your dream. We have another type of people. We have so many types as African. Back home, maybe was somebody who was business, or what you call business. You know, we say business, but normally what we're doing over there is trading.
Mm-hmm.
They come in idea, like, I'm gonna go to US and work, find me a job, work, and keep doing my trading. How do you see that transition from us African? People who choose to do the trading, because most of them make a little bit more money than most of us will go to school. How do you see that transition?
Trade has always been one of the oldest occupations in the planet. And trading is just finding a venue where people would come and you satisfy their needs. I am in sales right now. I help people find homes. I help people find a place where they can find warmth, you know. So it's, you evolve through your profession. It's not where you started. But you evolve through time and you say, okay, I started here just like the river, it takes different courses. But you adapt to those realities. You have to be very adaptive in this modern world because things shift very quickly. You know, if that's why I said the skill set that is necessary today is the skill set of being able to think. If you're able to think and you have, obviously, if you're healthy, your body has to be healthy, your mind has to be healthy, then you can adapt yourself to that reality. You can adapt yourself to different needs that the market requires. And that is associating yourself with different friends and saying, hey, I have $25, you have $25, here's $100, we can open up a business. I don't take 100% of the risk. If I just have $100 and I put it in a business and it doesn't work out, guess what? I'm out of luck. But if I just risk $25, now I still have 3 more chances.
It's very good the way you say that, because most of those people, our African friends, our African people come here. When back home they was trading, they come with the idea trading alone, like having a ownership. Like me, I know how to trade. I've been doing that for maybe 20, 25 years, whatever I was doing back home. And when you come here, it's very hard for them to be associated with everybody else because of the mindset. You're like, well, back home, I got this, I was doing this guy here, what do we got so we can be together? Don't you see, like, whatever you're gonna do, either you go to school or you want to trade, at least you need to get that type of education so you can also help you in your mind to expand and to understand, so that when you start doing the trading, you understand, like, in this market here in America, it require me to be together with somebody else so we can expand together.
In Africa or in America, it doesn't matter. It's still the same concept. The factor is risk. When you take a human activity, is trials. I throw the dart, there is a probability that it may hit, there is a probability that I may lose. So when you try any human activity, there is 50-50 chance. If you're lucky, you win. If you don't, you lose. So by dividing the risk among different people, what you're doing is you're reducing your chances of failure.
That's a good point. You really for that. The more people you get involved, and all of you with the same mindset, you're reducing a risk to be a fail. Because if you fail alone, trust me, you're gonna fail hard. But if you fail together, you're gonna share that with everybody else. So be the profit. Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah. So once you come in and you're able to finish schooling and you're able to communicate with the population here, the rest is getting together and figuring out what are the endeavors that we can get together. That can be owning our own painting company, that can be owning our own garages, that can be owning our own clinics, that can be owning whatever the small businesses that we think we need in our communities. If not, you'll spend years complaining about, I don't like my job. I know people that have been here for 15 years complaining about their jobs. If you don't like your job, you change the course of action. You don't like the way they treat it, do something else. You have control over that. We don't have control over chance. We don't have control over fate, but we have control over efforts. What I have control over, I cannot control my chance. I cannot control where I was born. That I have no control over. I didn't choose my parents. That's nature. Okay, what I have control over is not even my chance, my luck. I don't have control over that. I throw and I say, okay, today it's lucky or not. But I have control over my effort. That is something that I have control over. How I deal with you, Herman, and anybody around me, that I have control over. So those are the things that we have to put our efforts into, the things we have control over. The stuff that are outside of our control, there is no point of crying about it. That is the way it is.
In employment in America is a big deal, especially for us Africans. As we said earlier, some of us are very lucky, very successful to make it. Some of us are not really very lucky or very successful to make it. But one thing you have to keep in mind, whatever you try to do, at the end of the day, you want to make a living. And if you want to make a living, as African proverbs say, if you want to go far, go with someone. If you want to go faster, go alone. In this country, it's very, very important that we stay together so we can help each other with the same mindset. So everybody around you can have a little bit of what you got, and so they can share what they got too with you. It's going to help us to expand. We're facing a challenge. Each one has a challenge, but most of our challenges are different. But one thing for sure, we have to learn the language. With the new technology, we have to know how to type, how to communicate with computers, because that one really is a driving machine that is driving this country economy. And if you can do that here, you get a chance to go back home. Maybe you're going to make it better for yourself. We still have those obstacles as Africans. Going to school, we have a problem. Also, if you want to start your own business or wherever working, we have a problem. I'm gonna go back to going to school because you settle, you know, you got a family, you got a job, you go back to school. We have a problem about timing, how you can manage the family time and you to go to school, because we want to go to school full time and finish up quick so we can get a better job and support our family better. How do you see that transition?
The modern person doesn't need a PhD. Most of the information today is accessible through the net. Most of the intelligence right now is in the internet. Is your ability to use the internet and saying, hey, this information I need it, I can access it, I know what to do with it. That's why I said today the skill set that you need is being able to read, is being able to count, is being able to type, and is being able to think. If you have those 4 skills, now what you need is training. A training is what? A training is not a degree. It's not that I have a 4-year degree, a 6-year degree, or an 8-year degree. It's that I have the skill set to say, I am able to do this. I can accomplish this task. Bill Gates did not go to a 4-year degree, but he was able to build one of the biggest companies here in America today.
In the world.
Yeah. Because he was able to think, he was able to type, he was able to count. So the skill sets that we have to train ourselves is the ability to think, really. So once you come here in America today and you have an environment that is conducive to it, it's very important that, you know, when I live, that I live in a comfortable environment.
Yeah.
That I don't have problems at home because of we're overexpanding ourselves. We're spending more than we get.
Oh no, we live on a large family as African. All of us know that, because our family is not limited for you, your wife, or your wife with your husband, with your kids. We have what we call large family. Your cousin, your mom, your dad, your uncle, your aunt, your sister is part of family. And when we say you want to live comfortably, it's you to expand with all those people around. That's why Temple Africa gave us this opportunity. We can share what we know with you so you can make your own decision. Wherever you like what we're saying, you can still call us and let us know, like, okay, what you guys saying, I want to participate. I want to say how I feel. I want to tell you my own experience. How did I manage to make it? How did I not make it because I was making bad choices? Because everything we do is about choices. You choose to communicate good, to think, to write, to read, and also to expand. You touch the base of average guys to make it. You don't need to have a PhD. But that told me you got to have a PhD in economics to make in this world. I'm not kidding. But in America, not in America, but in the modern world, the stuff you just say is very important. Your ability to think, because we have access of information. Everything we need is on the web, is on the internet. Your ability to think, to make that work for you.
Exactly.
And that's what we're missing. Because you got a family and you got to sacrifice 4 more years in college so you can find a job. We're gonna pay you maybe $50 an hour. Then what after that? We didn't say like you don't have to go to school. The best things in this country is for you to learn and to go to school. But think, you going to school for something you like, or is your career is gonna help you to be successful, to make a better living in this country? That's what Temple Afric and Point of View is here to let you know, so you can make a good choice to choose yourself. Like I like to be in business class. That's the degree you're gonna earn. It's gonna help you to have a career that's gonna support you and your biggest family. That's the way we're telling you about thinking. We're not telling you don't go to school because you don't need that. No, you need that. But just think ahead so it can prepare you. You can make a better choice for yourself and your family. For our friend, the one who left back home, come here with the idea to work and to collect some money to keep doing the trading. Do he need also to get those type of knowledge so it can help him to expand either here or back home?
Knowledge is always good. You cannot survive in a world without knowledge. It's a world of information. It's a world that is defined by how we think about things, how we do things. So yes, education is essential, but education is information, and how that information is, you can utilize that information, what you do with that information. Because you can go to a PhD in economics and still not be able to use that information, because at the end of the day, it's not working for you. It's information that you gathered, but it's just stored.
Yeah.
So I tell people today that we need apprentices. We need people that need to be awakened. Awakened is the consciousness of information. Is how does that information work for you? So if you're focusing on the title of I am a PhD in economics, but you don't write, you don't talk, you don't do anything with this information, it's not useful to you, it's not useful to the people around you. So what I tell people right now is, as a collective education, which is what we're trying to do right now, is a mass education right now through this medium, which is the TV, where we can share information and say, hey, you know what, you may need maybe a 6 months training to be a plumber, or to be an electrician, or to be a computer programmer, or to be whatever. But you can make $25 an hour, $30 an hour, instead of waiting 7 years, finishing up, have a $200,000 debt, and making $40,000.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Just open up your mind and listen. But the choice is yours. That really makes sense. Because after 4 years degree, if you can still make the money below the poverty guide in America, you have to think twice. Because as we're sitting today, the poverty guideline in America for family of 4, if you're making less than $52,000 in America, you are below the poverty guide. Family of 4, dad, mom, and 2 kids. Do your research, check it, and call us and let us know what you think about that. It's necessary to go to school, but think about why I'm going to school, and at the end of the day, which career I'm gonna do is gonna help me. It's not worth it for you to spend 4 years in college and be paying money below the poverty guide, which one is $52,000 for family of 4. Think about that one, and you make a choice so you can be successful. That's why Temple Africa TV is here. That's why your show Point of View is here, to communicate with you and let you know, like, we are here through this media. We can get together and we can help each other. Mr. Lund just said, like, you may get the training for 6 months to be a plumber, double up the income you went to school for 4 years. Keep in mind, we are not saying like don't go to school. We are not, because the knowledge is the most powerful things you can get. But just think about your career than something you like or you love to do. Although you're a trader, or although you want to go to school to expand to be successful. Now we get to the point, a guy who went to school to expand himself to be successful, to get a better job, he finished that 4 years degree, and now he's searching to find a job so he can support his family, because before going to school he had in mind, like, after this one I'm gonna be making $100,000, so my family be better off. You've been on that experience. How did you see that transition after the 4 years degree in college, and to find the right job you're gonna pay you the money you was expecting?
The success doesn't come the way we think about it, Herman. If I use my example, when I finished my 4-year degree, I had a job in a parking lot as a parking attendant. That was my first job after 4 years of degree.
He said, I didn't say it. Keep going.
I was a parking attendant, and I was working in this parking lot. I studied there. I was sitting there with an economics and finance degree. When I started working there, I looked at the pricing, how they were pricing the lot.
Yeah.
And I figured out that they were losing money, with the pricing.
Yeah.
So I sat down and I drafted the numbers, calculated it.
Yeah.
And when the manager came, I said, I think the pricing should be done this way.
Yeah.
He looked at me and says, did you do this? I'm like, yes, I did it. He says, how did you come up with this?
Yeah.
I explained the logic to him.
Yeah.
And he says, how did you study this? I'm like, I have a bachelor degree in finance and economics. He says, why are you doing this job?
See, that's the question. Somebody with a degree, 4 years degree, bachelor degree, and working on a parking lot, and his boss asking me, why are you doing this job? Don't you think there's something over there that I'm missing? Keep going.
So he took the paperwork that I did with the calculations, and he took it to the owner of the company. The owner of the company called me up and said, I would like to meet with you. I said, okay. I met with him. He said, Troy, which was my boss at the time, gave me this paperwork and said that you did these calculations for him.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, I did. He says that you have a degree. I'm like, yes, I have a degree. He says, I have 9 parking lots in downtown Minneapolis. Starting tomorrow, I would like you to be the marketing manager for all my parking lots. And that's how I started my career in America. But it's accidental, it's luck, but that's where I started.
See, that's why we say education is the most powerful things you can have. If he did not have that degree, because that degree really helped him to draw that plan on a piece of paper. So when he gave that to the supervisor reported that to the owner of company. Look how luck can play, because we play more on lucky way, because look how lucky can play. That degree earned him a job to manage all 9 parking lots in downtown. Which one he'd be a marketing person for that. If he didn't have that degree, he could not get to that point. That's his own experience. If you want to share your own experience with us, so call us at 612-224-2020. I repeat, 612-224-2020. That's a good example. How do you think it's going to play up with the guy who finished 4 years degree, and then the transition for him to find a really job? Which one you was lucky?
It's about touching different things. I tell people you have to volunteer. Even if you're not paid at the job, go volunteer your time. You learn the skill sets. It's a free education. You have to look at yourself as an entrepreneur, somebody who is searching for information, somebody who is collecting information for a purpose. If I don't get the training, I go to school for that, and I pay them thousands of dollars for this training. The way you do this is you take that training, what we call internship, and you learn from what they teach you. If you're in that environment long enough, you gather information, and that's what becomes your experience. Your experience is all that information that hits your brain and that you process through time. That makes you a stronger, smarter person through time. But you have to be able to pay your dues. If the only time you put energy is because somebody is saying, I'll pay you $5 or $10, that's why you go, then you limit it. There was no calculations behind that. I was just looking at the numbers and saying, if I own this business, this is how I'm going to run it.
Yeah. The knowledge you learned from school.
That's it. And if you apply that into your friends' businesses, you apply that in your environment, you apply it in your environment, the people that you meet, and you start sharing your know-how, that becomes a collective know-how that people can build themselves upon. And it makes us a stronger community, it makes us a wiser community, and people built into that good energy. Life is energy, it's transformed. So we just transform this energy that we call knowledge or information into something greater. Success is not being the highest guy in the room. That's not success. Because there will always be somebody stronger or somebody higher than you.
Always.
Always.
No matter what.
But if I create harmony around me, if I create an environment that is conducive to good behavior, overall we all grow then. You know, it's putting energy, like I said. You place your energy through time, though that pays off. But at the beginning, I think where we struggle a lot is finding that collective well-being. I'm good in math, I teach you. You're good in English, you teach me. And before we know, though, we're all good at something. It's the same thing with the jobs. It's the same thing with how it's conducting. Instead of competing with each other and saying, I have to put you down for me to rise, is I have to raise you for all of us to grow.
That's a good point. I have to help you, you can help me, so all of us, we can grow together. The knowledge we have, we share that with you, so you share that with somebody else. And at the end of the day, when the mind sets together, we put something together, and from that point, we can control our small community. We can control our house, our small community, to make it bigger. And before you know it, everybody start talking about Temple Afric TV, which one is owned by African people living in the US. That's the reason why we are here today, to talk to you, to let you know what we know. For our friend, the one who left Africa with the idea to make it in the US by doing the trading. And when it comes to the trading, we know the knowledge. We need 4 things as what we learn in school. You need the capital. You need to place that capital, which one we call investment. You're going to spend more energy of that, and make sure you collect interest. And the way the trading working in America, it's not the same way it's working in Africa. Because in America, every transaction you do on trading, there is tax, it's taxable. I mean, in Africa, there is a tax. But we go over the taxes. We really don't. Let's say you're doing a business on some village, you really don't pay no taxes like the guy doing on a big town, on a capital city. But here, it doesn't matter. How do that guy who come with an idea to trade is going to make it in America?
The tax is just our collective contribution. So if you started the business properly, and let's say it's a restaurant. If I started with the restaurant and it's not something that I reduce the risk, like I talked about earlier, the risk of failing is very high. And then I give up because my expectation was I'm going to make it. If I tried it, because that's what disappointment is. I tried something, it's a desire that I have, I don't fulfill the desire, I'm disappointed. But if my identity is not about me being above everybody, if my identity is about trying to create a collective well-being, saying that, okay, I put my 10, you put your 20, somebody puts their 5, we have 100, we open a restaurant. At the beginning, it may not be $1 million restaurant, it may be just a small restaurant. but we keep on putting our energy towards that project. Before we know, because a lot of people put their energy into it, it blossoms. It becomes the modern African McDonald's. It becomes the next, I don't know what other chains that Africans can create in this, because we eat food. We don't have any chains here. Chinese have it, Indian have it, other communities have it.
Except African community. Except African community does not have where we can go to eat our own food.
And we eat.
Every day.
Exactly. So those are the simple stuff that we can talk about. Is figuring out, okay, how do we create a small chain here in Minneapolis, first of all, before going any further? Because we all labor. So even if I'm taxing myself at the beginning and saying, okay, it's 10% of my income that I'm going to put towards this endeavor, it's 10% that we all say, okay, at the end of this month, here's my $200. At the end of the month, here's my $100, even if that's all I contribute. But that requires trust. It requires believing in ourselves. It requires the harmony that I talk about. If you don't have those ingredients, then you cannot do this kind of activities. Because if I'm suspicious of you and you're suspicious of me, guess what?
We get nowhere.
We get nowhere. So those are the basic, simple problems, internal, like I said, the emotional and psychological issues that we have to resolve first of all. Because if we resolve those issues, then our daily basic existence are taken care of. But before we get to that point, we have to take care of the emotional, psychological scars that we have. Those are the stories that I told you last week about scanning each other. We keep scanning each other. Oh, did you hear so-and-so? Oh, they just robbed him this.
Yeah.
And we keep telling each other those stories. So at the end of the day, even if I said $5 right now, you would say, I better buy my McDonald's right now than give this guy $5. But if we all contribute $5, guess what? Slowly but surely, we would get to an amount of money that we can start something. And those are the basic principles, but they're practical principles. But they are, the soubassement, as we say in French, is the ideology that we have to trust each other. We have to believe in each other. We have to respect self enough that I respect you. If we do that, then yes, all these struggles that we call struggles today would be a nice endeavor. And it's not just here in America. We would be able to implement it in Africa. Because this is the richest, wealthiest continent. There is no reason why today we're at the bottom of the echelon in terms of economic well-being. The only reason why is somebody from outside has dictated this idea in our minds that we have to mistrust each other. And that has been ingrained that we're passing it into our genes. So we have to stop that nonsense because it's cursing us, it's hurting us, and to start figuring out, okay, how do we resolve these issues? But that I hear somebody is offering something that I come, hey Herman, call so-and-so, he will find you a job. It doesn't cost me anything. That Herman makes more money than me should not be a problem. Because if I'm in struggle and I have the right heart, this is what we go to church for every Sunday or to the mosque every Friday.
Unfortunately, we don't practice what we're going to the church and the mosque every Friday and every Sunday.
And that's where we have to start, is the basic wishing well to each other. That we reach out to each other and say, hey, so-and-so is needing a job. Here's his phone number, call him. So-and-so is looking for a house. Call this person. Even if I don't get the money today, tomorrow it's something that I could do. But if everybody around you is broke, guess what? If you have trouble,
nobody's going to help you.
They cannot, even if they wanted to.
They don't have.
They don't have it. But if I had helped them at the beginning because I had a little bit, and everybody puts their 5 cents, then collectively, employment-wise and anything-wise, we become a powerhouse. If I am at the job and I have 20 more people that look like me that are with me, guess what? The managers, the owners of the company, before they make any decisions, they will come by me. Yeah. And that's where power is. Power is on the collective assembly. Yeah, the collective efforts. If we all put our hands together, then we're powerful. But individually, I can put you as the president of the country, just like we did with Obama. Does that make black people powerful in America? No. He has the most powerful office in the land. Does that
Not only in the land, in the world.
Yeah. Does that make black people? Today we're talking about life matters. Black people's life matters in 2015. So power is not built into those things. Power is a collective assembly. It's not individual. And that's where I think we have to start cleaning up our psychology, cleaning up our emotions to get to a point where we start saying, hey, you know what? If everybody that looks like me or that is around me is not safe, I'm not safe. It's financial, it's economical, it's physical.
That's why Temple Africa TV come to you to give the knowledge, to let you know the media, like this is what we're thinking, this is how we're thinking, this is our collective efforts to come to you through the point of view show to let you know how we see things, how we can be together to make it so successful, especially in this country called of America. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. Do everything that you can do so you can learn something in this country, which one is going to help you and everybody around you to be successful. But we Africans, we have to do a cleanup inside us. When I say cleanup, it's the way we're thinking about others. He got more degree than me. The one who got more degree, see everybody like I have a PhD. Nobody in this room ever go to high school. Guess what? You're gonna need those guys because they look like you. Maybe they have a knowledge that you don't know. Maybe it's gonna help you by having a PhD degree together with all those people who don't have no knowledge about the PhD degree you have. It's gonna help you to build up something. When it was the last time you sit together with your community, not by judging each other, but by helping each other, pulling each other, like let's do something better for ourselves. On the end of the day, it doesn't matter you went to school, you earned a PhD degree. It doesn't matter for the guy who left Africa, come here to do a trading. We all want to live comfortably. We all want to live very good. And to make it, especially here in America, to live very good, we got to be together. To be together by the knowledge that we got so we can share it, we can expand it among each other. Put yourself in a position to be a marketable person. You market yourself. As they say in English, you clone yourself. Don't feel inferior to anybody. It doesn't matter you speak broken English, like most of us do, like myself. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because you speak more 2 or 3, 4 more language than the people you find in America. They only have one language that they speak, which one is English. The reason why you and me have accent, because we were not born in this country, and also we speak 3 or 4 more language. Use that knowledge for yourself to help you to expand. Not only you in your family, in your community, and everybody else around you. Don't be judging each other by the way we live, by the car we're driving. Because on the end of the day, our topic today was about employment. We need to work and to live comfortably. Collectively, we can go far. But if we are individually, most likely it's going to be hard. Some of us has make it. How do they make it? If you really want to be successful, keep watching Temple Afric TV with the show point of view. And that note, I want to thank my guest today, Mr. Alun Sam.
Thank you, Herman.
Thank you very much for helping us to understand really the concept of us working together and being together and having that knowledge that we need to go to school, to learn how to read, to write, to speak, to think, and to turn that knowledge that we got inside of us to make it marketable market, to use it on fruitfulness, so it's going to help us to build up something better for ourselves. Wherever you like it or not, we are here to stay. Make America your home. Thank you for watching Temple Africa TV, your show point of view. Coming next is going to be our show Grand Débat. Stay tuned to Temple Africa TV. Thank you.